Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Halftime Oranges. Now, today, unfortunately, Clive cannot be with us. He's studying for an exam. He's 11 plus, I think.
Coaching badges, I think.
Yeah, Pro Vere license. But Stefan's joining me, and we're going to go over all of this weekend's action. And we're going to go straight into it with the game between Brentford and Arsenal, Stefan.
Yeah, what a weekend. And what a start to life in the Premier League for Brentford. I think it was exactly how we thought it would be. The players coming out to Hey Jude, packed house, great atmosphere. And we said we knew what we're going to get from Brentford. We knew we were going to get that attacking, expansive football. But I was really impressed with the way they sort of mixed it up. And they're quite organised and disciplined with their set pieces. Great centre-back pairing. They've gone for Aya and Pontus Jansson, ex-Leeds Pontus Jansson. Sort of that Ivan Drago-esque double pair at the back there. Tony up front. We spoke maybe about his the amount of goals he might get, but I was impressed with his all-round game, getting back for the team as well. And Burmo was everywhere, and his link-up play was fantastic. Yeah. And I think Brentford's home form, as we said in the preview show, I think Brentford's home form will be key. You saw the atmosphere they made, saw the attitude and the manager, the way the fans got engaged, and how disciplined they were. But on the flip side of that, I will say Arsenal made it very, very easy for them. Yep, sure. And they still do have that soft centre. We spoke about the lack of leaders in that team, and they haven't added any more leaders to that team. Obviously, the scapegoat here for me is Ben White, a player I know a lot about. I don't think I've ever seen him have a bad game for Brighton, to be absolutely honest. First season in the Prem, took to it like a duck to water. But I think almost that philosophy and the way Arsenal set up can make good players look bad. You've got to remember, he's coming from a Brighton team that had one of the best defences in the league last year. And he was almost our third best centre-back behind sort of Webster or Dunk or even Veltman. And he's going into this Arsenal team as the lead man. He's not a talker. He's not a leader. He needs someone next to him. And Pablo Mari isn't really the answer. If you look at that first goal, there's maybe a lack of communication there between Callum Chambers, is it, who had an awful game.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's not let that guy out of play. He's cleared it, and then he's shown him inside, and the boys got a fairly easy goal there. He took it nicely. And then the second goal, a lot will be said about that. They obviously knew there was a problem there at centre-back, and they've just thrown that ball in there. Is that in the VAR era, is that not a disallowed goal?
Yeah, well, I was looking at that and I thought the VAR was going to look at it because I thought that he was obstructing the goalkeeper, but they didn't give it.
There's obstructing the goalkeeper and there's an arm lock there, is it not?
Yeah, there was. I think you're right, but again...
And you can say the keeper needs to be stronger, but the ball has bounced in the air and it's 2-0. And then the most disappointing for me is from an Arsenal...
Well, going back to that, did Was complain at all to the referee? Was there anything from Leno? I don't think there was, right?
There wasn't, and you could see by the reaction on...
And that sums up Arsenal in a way, doesn't it? That there's no leadership and there's no bottle, really.
Yeah.
They're just accepting the defeat in a way.
Well, Graham Souness once called them a team of son-in-laws, which I think sums it up perfectly.
Okay.
But probably best not to quote Graham Souness this weekend, I imagine.
Yeah, we'll come to that.
But you can see from Pontus Jansson's face that he sort of looks at the keeper, looks at the referee as if to say, have I gotten away with this?
Yeah.
Because I don't think last season he does. And then the most disappointing thing for me is 10 minutes later, a cross comes in and the same thing happens again. It's allowed to bounce in the area. Obviously, Arsenal fans will say we didn't have Lacazette and we didn't have Aubameyang, which was very strange because we were under the impression that they were going to start. And if anything, he was going to try and accommodate them all. And it came out maybe a few hours before the game that they were ill. What does that mean? They got the bellyache, the runny nose. I'm entirely sure. Note from their mum.
Nothing to do with COVID, I guess.
But they would say that, wouldn't
exactly
they? Yeah,
it's nice, right?
Yeah. And then
very little's been made of that. Very little's been made of that as well.
Yeah, it's a strange one. Maybe there's something going on behind the scenes there. There's rumours that they don't get on.
Them two together?
Yeah, there was issues last year, so maybe that's
well, surely one of them could start at least then.
Exactly. Whoever wins the fight.
Yeah, exactly. Be a tickling contest at Arsenal, though, probably.
And Pepe, you'd expect him to kick on this year. He was really ineffective as well. I think some of the positives were Smith Rowe. he had a really good game.
He was the best out of the bunch for Arsenal, no doubt about it.
And Saka came on as a sub. He looked lively. Tierney had an okay game, didn't he?
Yeah, and fair play to all the Brentford fans for cheering on Saka as he came on after the Euro.
Yeah, it was nice to see.
I don't know if they would have had the same mentality if they would have been 3 down, but I guess
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's easy to be charitable when you're 2-0 up. Yeah. But Smith Rowe was saying he's maybe their danger man at the moment. He's been there 5 minutes, so that shows you everything. Poor night for Arsenal, really, really poor night, and it doesn't get any easier either because it's Chelsea next. And I just fear for Ben White. I remember Maguire when he first went to Man United, everything was about the price tag, a young English defender on a lot of money, cost a lot of money.
Yep.
And I can see him having an absolute stinker up against Lukaku next week, and it becoming a bit difficult for the boy. But
I never even thought about Lukaku, actually, when you mentioned Chelsea, because they've got enough firepower as it is. But you're right, Lukaku's going to come in and they're going to be targeting.
Yeah, White, exactly. Sure. And he's not a man that goes up and wins head. He's a clean, short, sort of one-on-one defender.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, Gabriel will be back eventually, and I think that might suit him better than the current
definitely,
partner he
sure.
has. What did they have? Lokonga up? Sorry, not Lokonga. Balogun up front. They're lacking a bit of firepower.
A bit.
yeah. And we don't know. We're saying Aubameyang's going to come back in, but he wasn't 30 goals a season striker last year. So
it was awful. We all know after he signed that contract.
Yeah, motivation went, didn't it?
His talent. Everything went down the drain.
Difficult start for Arsenal. Great start for Brentford. We all tipped them to stay up, I think, and I think that home form will be key. But yeah, a great first game. Great to see the fans back. Perfect Friday night game for me.
Yeah, a few things to add. I've got. I'm looking at my notes now that with no Lacazette and Aubameyang on the field, only Pepe started in that starting 11 that had scored more than 2 goals last season for Arsenal.
And they didn't look like scoring at all, did they?
They didn't, did they? No, they had a little bit of a
sustained spell of pressure in the second half, maybe
a little bit when they should have done anyway because they were down. I said that Arsenal were pushing forward. It looked like Arteta had set the team up where Aubameyang and Lacazette were still starting. It wasn't like, right, those are not starting, so let's be more defensive. Tierney and Chambers were still pushing up and they were getting exposed in behind there. And Mbeumo was just all over the place.
Yeah. Exactly.
All over the place, doing damage.
Unbelievable work. And you knew what you were going to get. We said Leeds. You know what you're going to get from Leeds every week. You knew what you're going to get from Brentford. Yeah. And it was almost like Arsenal hadn't done their homework and Brentford had.
It's true.
And they just wanted it more. It's a cliche, but they clearly wanted it more, didn't they?
Yeah. But how long we've been saying that this Arsenal side, I mean, we've been saying that for many a year now, don't have any fire in the belly.
Yeah.
I was watching AFTV as you do when Arsenal lose. And I got to say, there was almost an air of, what's the right word? Like acceptance, yeah. It wasn't like they were angry or pissed off anymore. It was like, yeah, we knew this was going to happen. We could see it coming.
Clive couldn't he? Clive caught it bang on.
He did, yeah. Fair play, Clive, if you're listening. But I've got written down same old Arsenal again. Callum Chambers has been there. This is his 7th season at Arsenal now. He's had 2.
That's mad, because for me, he's always a sort of 18, 19-year-old lad.
Yeah, he's still learning his trade, but he's 26 now.
Time to grow up, son.
I think there's a few players like Callum Chambers around Arsenal that I don't think they are Arsenal quality. Now, I'm saying that Arsenal quality like it means something. But if you're a 17 or 18-year-old growing up now, maybe they are Arsenal quality.
Yeah. You're thinking of the Invincibles and Adams and Vieira and Henry, right? Yeah, it is a different era.
Yeah, this is a poor spell for Arsenal, and unless they bring someone in, I can't see their season being any better than mid-table like they were last season.
Very early shout, but could he be the first one to go?
Yeah, I don't know. These owners, anything can happen, right? I know the Arsenal fans hate Kroenke, and I can understand. I wonder if they're missing Wenger now. Anyway,
careful what you wish for.
Yeah, exactly. All right, moving on to Man United. Now, as a Man United fan, this was dreamland stuff for us. Nightmarish for Leeds, of course, but yeah, we had Varane coming on the pitch before kickoff.
That's a cheat code, isn't it? That the cynic in me thinks that deal was done weeks ago and they just wanted that moment.
Well, yeah, I was thinking the same thing, but apparently it was something to do with naming rights or something. I don't know. Modern day football, eh?
When's the parade for Tom Heaton? Is that next week or?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, next week. But yeah, Varane came on the pitch and gave 75,000 United fans who were really excited to be back in the stadium an even bigger boost just to see him. No more social media crap like, Sanchez playing the piano. Just put the player on the pitch pre-kickoff. Get the fans up. It was great. I did say in the preview show that what we thought was going to happen was Solskjaer was going to go with the three, Bruno and Pogba and probably Matic. Nope,
yeah.
McFred was back. Tried and tested, McFred were back. And what I'm so glad he did, because they were brilliant all through the first half and second half. A big battle appeared in the midfield, and those two boys really, really won that battle and were able to then distribute the ball to Pogba and Bruno. Pogba, I mean, what can you say? 4 assists in one game. Incredible, an amazing feat. Not if you ask Graham Souness, though, who says that's what you should expect from a £100 million player, even though he didn't cost £100 million. And then, I don't think Jack Grealish got 4 assists later on, but again, we'll come to that. What I would say is that James struggled on the right side. He really did. Yeah. I predicted that Stuart Dallas was going to be at left back, and he did. He played at left back, and James didn't do attack really.
Was that not an opportunity to start? I don't know about his fitness.
That's what I wanted. That's what I think a lot of United. But apparently he was ill, so maybe the same
thing. Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah. So first goal, I was a bit of an error, I guess, from Leeds. Loose ball on the halfway line, and then beautiful through ball from Pogba, and Bruno was just able to. If you knew football but you didn't know who Bruno was, I think you'd be forgiven to think that he was actually a striker. The way,
he's like a Cantona-esque sort of player, is he? Like a full striker? Would that be fair to say?
A little bit like a number 10, I guess. But the way he brings the ball down and then he's finishing as well, it's of such quality that it's striker-esque. And when United attack, he does actually move into that position. So that's why he gets a lot of the goals. If you actually watch United attack, he's right.
He takes risks, doesn't he?
Yeah,
really?
He's right next to Cavani or Greenwood most of the time. If he's not the one who's passing the ball. We were going into the half time at 1-0 up. I'm sure Solskjaer would have said, "Keep it tight, lads." The old saying.
5.
Yeah, 2 minutes later, Ayling scores.
What a goal!
Oh, unbelievable. What a goal from a right back.
Probably maybe the best goal of the game, ironically.
Maybe the weekend. I don't know. Some United fans, if you watch the replay back, some United fans were saying, did De Gea move his hand away from the ball as that ball was flying past him?
Yeah, I'm not a keeper, but you don't want to do that.
If it's true, yeah. But no, I'm not taking any away from that strike. It was unbelievable. But then, a few minutes later after that, Pogba with one of the assists of the season. Yeah, I know it's the first weekend of football, but it was an incredible pass. And Greenwood just, with his pace, put his head down, saw where the keeper was, and then I tell you what, as a United fan, when you see Greenwood in that position, you're confident that he's going to score.
Yeah,
even though it was a tight angle, his finishing is of such quality. If that was Rashford, it's 50-50, but Greenwood, you're confident that he's
composure, right? What Ollie said, isn't he? He's the best striker at the club.
Yeah, he says the
best finisher. Sorry, at the club,
best finisher, and he should know. So another assist there from Pogba, and then Lindelof.
Spurred on though, right? 70,000 cheering on your replacement,
and there you go. Yeah, Ollie, his policy is to bring in players to push the first team players, or the so-called first team players. He doesn't really bring in players just to sit on the bench, really. He wants to bring in players who are going to at least push for that starting 11. And of course, bringing in Varane, maybe it has pushed Lindelof, because everyone criticizing the fact that he can't distribute the ball from the back. What an assist that was for Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah.
Seems to have gone under that radar, that assist, because of Pogba's and Bruno's display, but that was an incredible ball by Lindelof. And Bruno, again, just a nice, composed finish that smashes it into the top corner like he's a striker. If that was Henry or Shearer from yesteryear, you'd be thinking, yeah. And it was the same sort of style, the same sort of finish, clinical. Bruno now, since he's joined United has had more goal involvements than any other player in the Premier League.
He is your
goals.
Your most consistent player since the Fergie era, and maybe probably your best signing.
All right, I think you're right. Yeah, I'd go along with that. So, yeah, that's 7 years later.
Exactly.
Yeah. Last season we lost 3 games of our first 6. Aston Villa,
slow start,
Spurs, and Crystal Palace on the first day, the opening day. So hopefully we can continue this form and progress. So it's a brilliant start for Ollie and the boys. What a great day it was at Old Trafford. I mean, last season we didn't get to see that 6-2. Obviously, there was no one in the stadium. So to be able to replicate and perform and do a 5-1 was incredible. I think going over to having a look at Leeds now, they missed Phillips in that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Especially when you're going man for man, right? And you've got Bruno pulling the team apart.
Yeah, 100%. They definitely missed him. That battle that would have ensued in midfield if he was there would have been a lot different, I think. And but fair play to Fred for scoring and for McTominay, who played really well.
Fred scoring, that's the icing on the cake, isn't it?
Yeah, that doesn't even make sense, really, does it? But yeah, and a lovely slotted home finish after another Pogba assist. So yeah, happy days.
Yeah, your home form wasn't as good as your away form. I think you broke a record last year for your away form, so that was good to see. And you've got to remember it was 1-1 in the second half as well, right?
Yeah, and I thought I was fearing the worst when they scored. When Alien scored, I was like, oh, we looked tired, we looked down, but no, we just kicked on. It was an incredible performance.
Yeah. And exactly. When you
bring on Southampton away next game. So let's hopefully Varane and Sancho will play in that game.
Well, look at that defence you've got now. Obviously, I still think the keeper's an issue, but sure at left back, Maguire, Varane, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka as well. When Solskjaer came in, it was Lindelof and Phil Jones.
Yep.
And maybe Ashley Young at right back, I think. So it shows you the recruitment has been superb. The only dud, as you say, probably Dan James. He was given that opportunity and he didn't really take it, did he? Will we see him start again in the Premier League?
Possibly, if there's injuries. But yeah, he did all right at the Euros. He's one of those, Dan James, where sometimes out of nowhere he delivers good balls into the box, or he'll see a pass. And other times he goes missing. And this weekend it was one of those. He was just off the pace. It didn't look like he fitted in. He was missing passes. He was missing opportunities. Lacked composure. But
lacks composure.
Yeah, but anyway, apart from that, sorry, Dan James.
Pogba's a big talking point for me because after a performance like that, I mean, for me, he had a chance at maybe at 0-0 where he was clean through and he did some sort of unnecessary step over and put it wide maybe, or the keeper saved it.
I remember I texted you, didn't I, when he did that, and I said, "Oh, here we go."
Just making it too difficult for himself.
Yeah.
And then he goes and gets 4 assists, man of the match. But do you see him staying? Do you want him to stay?
Over Bruno Fernandes, man of the match over Bruno? He scored a hat-trick.
It's a toss-up, isn't it?
Yeah. Can you do a joint man of the match? Men of the match?
Probably can at the Olympics now, I think.
It'd have to be person of the match. I do apologize to all the females.
Exactly, Graham. But do you want him to stay now? Do you want to see him start?
I do want him to stay, but it still bothers me that he makes comments like, he dreams of going to Madrid. Things like that still irk me. If it's about, are we better with Pogba? Yes, we are. We definitely are better with Pogba. Or having
on his day, right?
Yeah.
No one better.
Especially with the players that we've got around him and have brung in. Yes, we are better with Pogba. But I don't want the club to be held hostage over the fact that he hasn't signed this new contract yet. If he's not going to sign the contract, then we need to get rid of him. I'm sorry, but I cannot have him leaving on a free again, like he did last time. It's so embarrassing. It's really embarrassing, and it degrades the club in a way. It makes us look really bad. So sell or get him to sign. If we can put a deadline on it or something, like it'll have to be end of August, I guess, unless we try and sell him in January. But yeah. So, I don't want him to go. I would like him to sign a new contract. I think Bruno next to him Bruno's the type of player that we haven't had. It's difficult to compare players to Roy Keane and his captaincy, but do you know when he plays who hate to lose and they always want to
demand standards, right?
Pogba isn't really like that. It's not in his personality. if we lose and he's played well, I don't think it bothers him that much. Sad to say that, but I think that's true. Whereas Bruno, he constantly wants to win. It's all about winning, win at all costs. And I think that's helped Pogba. I think he's been a much better player having Bruno next to him.
He seems happy as well.
Oh, you never know with that boy. The only thing is as well, his agent is scum. We all know that. So, yeah, like I said, if we need to set a deadline, if he signs the contract, we offer him a good deal. The only thing that's in his way is, of course, PSG, who I think have basically said to him, listen, don't sign the contract, and we'll, instead of the transfer fee that would go to Man United for you, we'll give you that in wages. So he'll go from something like £350,000 a week, which I know is not a lot, is it, to about £550,000 a week.
But playing in his native France, right? And
guaranteed a league table, guaranteed a first place finish, a league title, and he'll be playing with Messi
and semi-finals in the Champions League.
Well, there you go. But yeah, and we're gonna come to Graham Souness. What a prick! I mean, seriously, like it's okay to say in the past he's not, Pogba puts in good performances, then doesn't. But if he does put in a good performance, then say he puts in a good performance. Don't just brush it under the carpet.
Alavigo's right. He's so tied.
It's so pathetic. It's
tied to his argument that he can't be.
I mean, the boy
objective.
got 4 assists. I think he's the first Manchester United player to have done that in the Premier League, and the 8th player overall in the Premier League to have done that. And
four in a game, that can't have been done too often, to be honest.
7 other players have achieved it.
Well, it can be. That's what I mean.
Do you want to guess? I've actually
you've got them there.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Oh, horrible.
Actually, I'll help you along. There's I think 4 are from Arsenal.
Pires?
Nope.
Misread. Fabregas?
Fabregas is one.
Okay. Bergkamp
is another. Well done. 1999 against Leicester. Who did you say previously? Fabregas, Blackburn against Blackburn in 2009.
4 Arsenal players.
I'm going to give you the other 2.
Yeah.
Or could be here all night. Jose Antonio Reyes against
Wouldn't
Middlesbrough.
have got that.
No, against Middlesbrough in 2006. RIP. Santi Cazorla against Wigan in 2013. And there's 2 Tottenham players. One was a former Arsenal player.
Doesn't happen often, is it? I'm not going to say Sol Campbell.
No, it was Adebayor.
Oh, right, yeah.
Against Newcastle in 2012. And Harry Kane in last year.
Oh, yeah.
Southampton,
Son, maybe, yeah.
2020.
I'd have thought maybe James Maddison. Do you remember Leicester smashed Southampton?
Oh,
9.
yeah,
I thought maybe that might be in there.
No,
wasn't.
No one got 4 assists, apparently. So there you go. Bergkamp, Reyes, Fabregas, Adebayor, Santi Cazorla, Kane, and Pogba. There's the players to do it in the Premier League.
That's when Arsenal used to score goals.
There you go. All right. Shall we move on then?
Yeah.
Straight into Burnley. Your game.
Burnley, Brighton. Yeah. So a good weekend for all of us, really, because we've all of our respective teams have picked up 3 points, and I wonder how many times that's going to happen this year.
What did you call it? A full orange.
A full orange. Is that a whole orange?
A whole orange.
A whole lot of full. Can I have a full orange, please? Really, quite happy at the moment, to be honest. It doesn't happen too often, that. Brighton win away from home, score 2 goals and beat a team around us, and come from a goal behind as well, which I don't think has only happened once under Graham Potter. So a day of firsts almost. But that thing of being a football fan, and even if you're down there at the moment, even if you're Palace or you're Arsenal or you're Southampton or whatever, you still think in the first day of the season that we might have a chance here. And that enthusiasm lasted all of 2 minutes when Dwight McNeil puts in a great ball and James Tarkowski barges Morpay out the way and they go 1-0 up. And you just think, it's going to be a long, hard season. And it was a long, hard first half. We were lucky to get to half time, to be honest.
Oh, really? Well, Burnley are like one of those teams when they go a goal up, they feel like they're going to be difficult to penetrate.
Robust, aren't they? Yeah, at home.
Great word there.
Thank you. But did you see the goal?
Yeah.
The header from Tarkowski?
I did, yeah.
Do you think? No, I don't think it. I think that's a goal, to be honest. But last year,
it would have been soft to have disallowed it, to be honest.
Yeah, there's the Leno situation and there's Morpay. Morpay basically just stands there, doesn't he? And he's expecting the VAR to do his work for him. It's a little bit naive. I did say set pieces, we need to be careful. And what Dwight McNeil puts it in a great area. And there was another corner about 10 minutes later, and it came off the underside of the bar. So we're very, very lucky to get in at half-time 1-0. Half-time, Potter rings the changes. Mwepu had a stinker of a debut. I don't know if it's fitness, if it's the pace of the Premier League. But that's all right. Yeah, it's all one big signing, and he looked like a bit of a dud, to be honest, in the first 45. But he brings on Adam Lallana, obviously made of glass, so can't start many games. So that's one of his 10 appearances this season. But he pretty much took control of that midfield with Yves Bissouma, who was excellent. And then he made 2 changes, brought on Moda and Alexis McAllister, and they combined for 2 of the goals. Basically the same goal. An overload on the right, on Burnley's left, pull back. Neil Maupay gets a goal, goes absolutely berserk. And then a few minutes later, Alexis gets the winner. Absolute dream world for those travelling Brighton fans in the corner there.
And for yourself, young man.
Yeah, and I think we spoke about the need for a striker. Neil Maupay got 8 last year. And there's no pressure on him now because we know that Danny Welbeck's out for a while and we don't know how long he'll be fit for. So even if he has a bad game, he's guaranteed a start, which is an awful position to be in, really, as a Brighton fan. But him getting that goal, and I wonder, the fans have been away for a long time, and he's sort of player that finds a problem in a game to motivate himself, like a Robbie Savage, or he's like a pest, a Paul Dickoff or something like that. And he went absolutely berserk. So I just wonder if he can get one in the next game. Maybe he can improve on last season's goal tally. But yeah, really, really positive. And Potter will love the fact that he's been called out on Match of the Day for his subs. Shout out for Shane Duffy, by the way, who was in the Brighton team under Chris Hughton when we got promoted. So it was Duffy and Duncan Duffy. And he had an awful season last year. Went on loan to Celtic and he was a laughing stock, basically. And needs must, we played him because Veltman, again, some sort of COVID issue. Duffy was called up to the first team. And for me, he was man of the match. He's basically the exact opposite of Ben White, which is why Potter doesn't play him. So he can head the ball. He would head a grenade if it was coming in the 6-yard box. But he can't receive the ball from the keeper or turn. But he did the basics well, and it serves us well in games away at Burnley, where we need to be a bit tougher. Again, on the flip side, Burnley, no debutants. And when this is the saying, teams like Brighton. So when you get beaten by Brighton, it's like we shouldn't be losing to teams like Brighton. And I wonder now if it's, you circle the drain for so long, you don't make transfers and then it all goes wrong. And I don't know. I still got faith in Sean Dyche.
You're a big Sean Dyche fan, aren't you? You think that he's done a great job at Burnley. You can't see him or foresee him getting relegated. Whereas me and Clive have said that Burnley will go down this season. I
don't know. He does the best of what he's got there, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But yeah,
and he has a tremendous job. But like you said, all good things have to come to an end, and I feel like
Burnley's running the Premier League is a great thing. Isn't it?
Well, it is for their fans.
Yeah,
it is for the fans. They've been in there for a while now, so
yeah, no one would miss him, to be fair. But that's true, though, isn't it? But I think there's this interesting thing of now, like the transfer window closes at the end of August. So we have this sort of 2-3 weeks where it's sort of like a try before you buy thing. So can Dyche go to the owners now and say, look, you need to back me here? You're getting beat at home by Brighton. Do you know what I mean? Where's the goals coming from?
Who are you going to go for? That's the issue. Who are you going to get?
Yeah, well, they've already used their Dale Stephens card, haven't they? So I don't know. It could be a long, hard season for Burnley.
Very much so. And I know they've got Liverpool at Anfield next.
How's your luck? Yeah.
And I think Brighton have got Watford.
Yeah. 6 points from 2 games, maybe. Dream world.
Ooh. All right. Yeah. So I was just looking at Burnley. Last 10 games in the Premier League, 5 draws and 5 defeats.
All right.
Downward spiral. All right. I've got a question for you. Now, Tammy Abraham has actually signed for Roma today.
34 million, right?
Yeah. And I think Chelsea are putting a buyback clause.
But that's smart. That shows that they do rate him. Right?
Yeah. Don't think they can't acknowledge it until 2023, I believe. Something I can't remember the price.
A couple of years, perfect.
Yeah. However, on that note, I did write this in my notes before Abraham signed. Would you rather have Tammy Abraham, okay, or So you can have Tammy Abraham right now, or it guarantees 5 wins. Your first 5 wins of the season. Your first 5 games of 5 wins.
So 15 points already.
Yeah, or you can have Tammy Abraham. Put you on the spot, kid.
Awful question. That's an awful question. I think, well, the priority for Brighton is to stay in the league. Okay, if we score enough goals, we'll do. I think we'll stay in the league anyway, to be honest. But
I think you will as well. I don't think
with Tammy Abraham,
there's not many fans who think that you're going to go down.
Yeah, it's never been the issue now.
Neutral.
I suppose that's expectations, right? But as I say, like the owners want top 10. They brought in Potter for top 10. This is pre-COVID, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't know if obviously that Ben White money. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. I think that's to recover our losses through COVID.
That's sad.
Yeah, our owner is a local man who's put a lot of money into the club, so it can only go so far. There was a poll actually amongst how happy are you with your owners. Can you guess? It wasn't Brighton who was top. Can you guess who was happiest with their owners?
Off the top of my head, let's have a look at the teams.
I think you need to think of the whole orange.
It's going to have to be Leeds.
Not
Leicester.
Leeds. No. Leicester.
Leicester.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Vichai, right? So Leicester were top, like 96%, and Brighton was second with 95%. So.
Oh, right. Okay.
So where we've come from, it's been a long old journey, and this is the 5th year in the top flight, which is a record for us. So you have to be sort of realistic. To answer to your question, I take Tammy Abrahams.
You would, yeah?
Of course you would.
Oh,
you're a fan,
enough.
right? And then, and then you make the points back up because he gets 25 goals.
25 goals he gets in the Premier League.
Have you seen our XG? Have you seen how many goals we create? But Neil Maupay and Connolly trying to finish them. But but positive.
Overall positive and happy boy. All right, let's move on now to Chelsea. Very Tuchel-like performance from Chelsea. All the possession. Crystal Palace couldn't get the ball off them in many areas of the game. All throughout the game, in fact, they were struggling for possession. Chalobah started at the back. The team selection actually surprised me a little bit. Chalobah started after his great performance in the European Super Cup. A beautiful goal by Alonso. That free kick, gloriously hit by him. He was rumoured, wasn't he, to be part of the deal was it for Tammy Abraham, or it might have been for another boy coming in from Sevilla? Kunde, I think.
The centre-back,
yeah. But anyway, he proved his worth.
Do they need him now?
That's a good question, isn't it?
Yeah. They'll get him anyway. It's Chelsea. But.
If they want him, they can have him, I guess. So, easy for Chelsea. Much more of the same that we saw of last season when Tuchel arrived. As for Crystal Palace, I think their season starts now after that game.
Yeah, it's almost a free hit. But you'd want to see something different, maybe, would you? You come from Roy Hodgson. Well, Roy Hodgson's been there.
Well, what do you expect if you're a Crystal Palace fan? What can you expect?
What I mean is, under Hodgson, you're never in danger of getting relegated. But they've gone for the change, haven't they? And Hodgson's played 4-4-2 forever and a day, and now they've gone to a 4-3-3 under Patrick Vieira. But they offered absolutely nothing in this game.
Zero. Absolutely zero.
So you'd want to see. I know it's a tough away game, right? You can't judge them on Chelsea away. It's maybe the toughest game you can have first out of the blocks. But you'd want to see a little bit of fight. You'd want to see something from your front man. I thought Ayew was really, really poor. I mean, I think there might be more business there for Palace, and that they will be welcoming some of those new signings in. And it is a tough start. But how many games did De Boer get? 7. So if we say this is number 1, the clock's ticking, Palace fans. And it would be hilarious if they made the same mistake twice. They ditch pragmatism for sexy football.
I can see it. I've said this already. I don't understand the appointment of Vieira. I think it's a massive risk. Based on what? One spell at Nice?
He was an invincible. I think you're forgetting that.
Oh, that's true. If he's going to get his boots on and play, though.
Exactly, yeah.
What's the point? But
obviously, we spoke about Eze, right? When he gets back.
But he's not back now until
a long old time. Yeah. So when he gets back, maybe things will be a bit different for him. Yeah. This is the first season that Zaha hasn't been linked with a move to Chelsea, I think, as well. Maybe he's just given up.
Well, I mean, that's another one on Arsenal, isn't it? I mean, Arsenal were always linked with Zaha for a long time, and they couldn't even get that over the line because of a few million quid.
They went with Pepe in the end, didn't they?
They did. I don't know. What's better? What would you rather have, Zaha or Pepe? Probably
Pepe's had half a good season. Zaha's always done quite well in the Premier League. It's hard for me to say sign Wilfried Zaha.
You'd probably go Zaha, wouldn't you? I think a little bit
tested, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of Chelsea, though, that they look in control, didn't they? And that the squad depth is the thing that stands out to me. You mentioned Alonso. Yeah. I think he went off for Emerson, and then you're thinking, well, where's Ben Chilwell in this situation? So he can't get a game anywhere. Embarrassment of riches, Chelsea, and then Lukaku's coming in the next game.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we've had a couple of debates about Timo Werner, haven't we? I think that he's not what you would call an out-and-out striker, but I feel like his movement, because of the players who are behind him and support him, he causes chaos within defenses, and that opens up spaces, and that's why Chelsea can score a lot of goals.
Yeah, but he's playing as a striker, isn't he?
Yeah, I get where everyone's saying that he misses ridiculous opportunities, sitter after sitter.
Chelsea for Germany.
Yeah, it's true. And so if they do bring in Lukaku, who can cause chaos in defenses, then I think Chelsea. You've put Chelsea to win the league, haven't you? You've predicted Chelsea to win the league, and with their solid defense and midfield base, Kante to come back, he didn't play.
Oh yeah,
they're looking fantastic. Yeah. So Pulisic got the second goal after a brilliant movement by Mount. He was ripping that Palace defense to shreds. Over on that right hand side, he was creating movement, got the ball into the box, and then Pulisic was able to put it into the back. And then an absolute wonder goal in the second half on the 58th minute by the young boy Chalobah.
Trev,
beautiful. I don't know. Yeah. What would you prefer, Chalobah's goal or I think Eiling's was a little bit better, I've got to say, but.
I don't know.
Two great strikes.
My story, right? You go with the narrative. It was when he scored it, he sort of went, I've scored. And then he realised it took it in, what had happened. And that's why it's so great to have fans back, right? Because if that had been empty stadiums, that would have been really pretty dire.
He's been at Chelsea since he was 8 years old.
Yeah. I mean, he was on loan at Ipswich, I think, before. And they'll tell you what a good season he had. But it was pretty much a surprise to me. Young English centre-back.
Yeah.
Promising. Will he keep a place in that Chelsea team, do you think?
I was just about to say, because they've got Azpilicueta to come back, who's going to fit on the right side. If Dan James is playing the right wing back, then Azpilicueta usually plays on the right side of the defence. Sorry, Reece James, not Daniel James. And they can have him if they want him. They'll give you a good price for him. But and then Azpilicueta usually slots in on the right side of the defence. But he played brilliantly there. So another option for Tuchel now, another really good player to have in central defence.
Yeah, it's looking very, very good for them, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Crystal Palace, we've said pretty much everything we can say. They didn't look great. The season pretty much starts now. Zaha did have one opportunity in the second half. He couldn't get the ball out of his feet, and then he pretty much just scuffed his shot. And that was all she wrote, really, for Crystal Palace. That's all they had in terms of opportunities in front of goal.
And Werner was at his scintillating best in front of goal again.
Yeah, not great.
What I say to you, switch that. Start with Tammy Abrahams. What's the score?
Well, we don't know, do you? You don't know.
Oh, I don't know. No, if I knew the answer.
Well, you think if they had Tammy Abraham, it'd be more than
just
three.
a finisher, isn't it? I don't know if Tammy Abrahams listens to this podcast or if he just dips in and out. No. But I'd be pretty pissed off if I was it. I don't know. You've got Lukaku as your main man. Could you not keep Tammy Abrahams there in the sort of Giroud role, coming on in 70 minutes, starting the League Cup game, starting the dead rubbers in the Champions League?
I'm surprised they did sell him. It's not like they need the funds.
Yeah.
Why not loan him? Why not loan him out?
Maybe he wants minutes. Maybe he's gone to Tuchel and said, I want to play 90 minutes every week. And you'd imagine at Roma.
Okay, I'll loan you out. How about that?
That's how it works. Yeah, good point.
Maybe forgot about that. But anyway, yeah, overall, fantastic result for Chelsea. Very, very solid performance. One thing I would say about Werner, I've just said it already, but his movement, I honestly don't think that Abraham or Lukaku can replicate his off-the-ball movement. I think it's incredible. And the speed at which he does move, it's an asset. But it's going to be an asset from now on that Chelsea are going to be bringing on from the bench, because we all know Lukaku's going to start. But
they might stick him out wide, right? But would you not rather have Pulisic there or Mount or, I don't know, Hudson-Odoi?
They won the Champions League with Werner up front.
And he missed a couple of sitters in that final. They run it in spite of him, is what I'd say, Aaron.
Oh, God. That's harsh. All right, shall we move on to the next game?
Yeah.
Which is Everton. So, most controversial managerial appointment in Everton's history, I'd have to say, Benitez. He started with Gray and Townsend, and it was, I want to say, old school football. Wingers bombing on, wing backs overlapping, trying to get balls into the box. Richarlison started, which is pretty amazing considering he was playing at the Olympics.
Yeah, talk about, are you watching Harry Kane?
Yeah,
there's your chance, Tottenham fans.
Yeah, he won the Olympics as well, didn't he? Brought back the gold medal. But it was Southampton who opened the scoring. It was an awful mistake by Keane. And I think it was Shea Adams, wasn't it, who delivered a beautiful little assist. And Adam Armstrong, who again, I thought wasn't going to start, slotted home a beautiful right foot finish into the top corner. That'll do him
That's huge, isn't it?
Yeah, great confidence. Great
when
confidence.
Shea Adams went in there, it took him a year or so to get going. So a bit of a price tag on his head, and he's gone in there, he's scored in the first game. That's massive for him.
Everton they were delivering balls into the box, but they couldn't really get going in the first half. However, in the second half, it was a completely different story. Terrible defending by Southampton. That was horrible.
They missed Vestergaard already. Is that fair to say?
Definitely. What a terrible
loss at centre half. Yeah.
Selling him just before the season starts, so he can sit at the bench on probably maybe start for Leicester. I don't know, but yeah, he was one of their best defenders last season, and probably is their best defender, or was their best defender, and they missed him. And that goal epitomizes why they miss him, because the ball was just sprung over the top after a corner, and Richarlison just hit it in because no one was there to get rid of it. And then after that, it was pretty much all Everton again. A beautiful wonder strike from Decore.
Yeah, is that more luck than judgment, or is he?
It was a little bit fortuitous the way it bounced, right?
Yeah.
But they struck it perfectly, and it went straight into the top corner.
Cue a pitch invasion, I think, as well, which is it's Southampton at home, lads. Calm it down.
Well, you've got to win those games, right?
Yeah,
you've got to win those games. So that makes sense, I guess. But yeah, it's not exactly Liverpool, is it? But yeah, that first goal definitely rejuvenated Everton, and they scored the second, and then the third goal came. Richarlison again working his ass off down the right hand side, whipped it in for DCL Calvert-Lewin to score.
Yeah.
Perrault made his debut from Southampton, but he got taken off. I think Townsend got an assist, so that's good for him, making his debut, making his first start, and getting an assist. Last season, I saw a stat that said that I think on average, Everton were crossing the ball into the box 12 times a game.
Did they do it 17 in this one?
You bastard.
I was in the same stat, I think, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, 17 crosses. 17 crosses this game. The next game, I'm really looking forward to the next game. They've got away at Leeds. I think that'll be a really interesting game. Really interesting. Rafa is under so much pressure, right, to perform.
Do you understand that?
Yeah, I can. Of course I can. Because a lot of the Everton fans didn't want him to go. You even saw it, didn't you, outside Goodison when they were linked, like, you're not welcome here.
If he's got a quite kind start, I think that Leeds game won't be easy, but he's got quite a kind start, those opening fixtures. If he gets 3 wins from the first 5, will that calm down, do you think?
Yeah, you know how fickle football fans are.
Yeah. That
sure. He's a good manager. He's a proven manager. So, yeah, I mean, listen, I'm sure Liverpool fans, do they like the fact that he's at Everton? I don't think they do, but I don't think they mind.
But they've surpassed him, haven't they?
Everton are not really competition for Liverpool, are they? So they probably just wish him well. It's one of those.
I don't know. I mean, we had in the must have been League One now. We'd had Steve Coppell from when he was like a free agent, if you like, came and took over, and he's a Palace legend. He took them to the cup final against you lot in 1990, and it was awkward for the first few games, but he did well, and there's the chance about him having VD suddenly turns to being by the sea. But then he goes again, and then it just reverts back.
All right. Well, there you go. As soon as Benitez leaves and goes somewhere else, then they can start hurling abuse again. But
exactly. That's 100% what will happen. But yeah, good start for Everton.
Yeah, great start. Cracking start. All right, moving on now. We've got Leicester against Wolves.
Yeah, this was the fake dog derby, so the Foxes versus the Wolves. So this was actually last on match of the day. It wasn't Brighton after all, which I was pleased to see. Hard fought, tough victory for Leicester. It wasn't a classic by any means. At 0-0, I don't know if you saw Adama Traore went clean through.
I did.
And that sums him up because he's blistering pace, gets straight past the centre halves and then just side foots it wide. And so he's got no composure. And
he's not really a goal scorer, is he?
Winger, isn't he?
But in a modern day football team, when you've got like Mane and Salah and Greenwood playing in those positions, putting Greenwood,
yeah,
isn't your job now to score?
Well, that's your job. Yeah, exactly.
All right, Keano's turned up.
Well, that will come, won't it? I imagine he's still a young lad, so that's something he might improve on. But 0-0, Jamie Vardy puts Leicester in front. What a goal! Tight angle. I don't know how he's managed to do that. Really,
some cracking goals this weekend. Amazing.
Yeah, really. Yeah, you could have a goal of the month from this weekend, I imagine. I wonder now with Vardy, we've got a young boy coming in as well, Iheanacho there as well. Maybe that's given him a bit of a kick up the bum to kick on, if you like. And it's been 3 years since he retired from international football. Has he benefited from giving himself these free summers and not messing about with England?
Sure. It would have been difficult if, say, he was in the England squad and we got all the way to the final. You know, for a 34-year-old to then come back to the Premier League and start first game and perform the way he did would have been a difficult ask. He might have been on the bench. So that would have been a waste of time for him to sit on the bench for England and then go back to Leicester and probably sit on the bench.
Exactly.
First game. So, fair play to him for doing that.
Yeah. And did you see Celebration?
The Howl?
The Howl, yeah. Don't know if he's a big Wolves Gladiator fan from the 90s or what, but maybe
he is. That's right. He is, yeah.
We talk about fans coming back. Maybe he's somebody that needs them away fans there almost to spur him on.
You think so?
Because he's always chatting away to the away fans. He really enjoyed that goal. But he started last season really brightly and then he tailed off. Maybe that's fitness, maybe that's age. So it'd be interesting to see how many goals he can get now between now and Christmas as well. But I don't know if Wolves would be disappointed with that. Leicester are going to be up there this year.
I don't think Wolves. I thought they performed relatively well. Just like you said, they couldn't put the ball in the back of the net, which is one of the problems they had last season. They're going to have to get Raul Jimenez scoring again because they can't rely on players like you said, Traore to finish.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can get him back scoring and they'll kick on. But they look decent against a very decent Leicester side who just won the FA Cup and Community Shield. So Wolves will have no problems. Coutinho played well as well. And the new boy, Trincao, he played decent as well for Wolves. So, I don't think Wolves will be any danger. I'll be interested to see how they perform next. I don't know who they've got next, actually. I haven't written that down. But, I can see Wolves, mid-table finish.
Yeah.
But again, it all depends on it's goal scoring. Raul, if they can get Jimenez, like I said, scoring, then who knows where they can go.
Well, he was all right in pre-season, wasn't he? And he didn't have a bad game, I think, on Saturday. And Leicester's a tough defence. Vestergaard actually came on to shore up the game.
Yeah.
As well. I think Leicester will be overjoyed with that, won't they? I think Leicester see themselves maybe as a Champions League team. I see them as the best of the rest, if you like.
Yeah.
But good opening win for Leicester.
I don't think Clive will be happy to hear that. All right, moving on now to Watford versus Aston Villa. If you looked at that scoreline, you think it was relatively competitive, but it wasn't really. At Watford, 3-0 up. Sarr on the right wing was sensational. I mean, we talk about signings of the season, but I think for Watford to be able to keep hold of Sarr after they went down the first time from the Premier League a couple of years ago, that was a bit of a masterstroke because in that season, he actually got 5 goals with 7 assists in a Watford team that was playing very, 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 very poorly and eventually did go down. I think they're very lucky to keep him. And the first goal, listen, Taggart on the left-hand side for Aston Villa is a fantastic player, really good left-back. He chewed him up, he spat him out.
Got subbed, did he?
Sorry, did he get subbed? Yeah, I think right. Yeah, he did. I mean, he butchered him. And the first goal came from that side. Crossed it into the new boy, Dennis. He wasn't being marked particularly well. And then
what's going on with the Villa defence? We spoke so highly of that.
Very poor, I thought. I don't think enough was made of that, to be honest. And then, he managed to slip it under Martinez in goal. So, is that right? Is that the name of the goalkeeper?
Yeah, the ex-Arsenal boy, I wonder if they regret selling him, actually.
I think they do. And then the second goal, again, Sarr taking control, grabbing the ball. Then a bit lucky, a bit fortuitous. Shot that deflected and went into the corner of the goal. Villa at 6s and 7s. at the back. They looked terrible. And then, third goal, second half. This Hernandez, who they signed 4 years ago, and
he's been out on loan every other year, right?
Yeah, and he's been playing in the second division of the Spanish game, and then he's been playing in La Liga last season. I think he scored about 3 goals. Finally he's made his debut after 4 years. He's actually got a cap for Colombia, and he scored 2 goals. Yeah, he scored 2 goals in 2018, but he hasn't played since. 4 years in the making, and what a goal! Unbelievable! Another quality goal, cutting in from the right side and then curling it into the far corner. I think Aston Villa will be really disappointed with that performance.
We turned up in the second half, didn't they? Great goal from McGinn.
Oh, beautiful! Yeah, sensational, and a nice little cross and assist from the new boy Bailey as well.
Yeah, a lot of new starters.
Yeah, Ings was able to get on the score sheet. I know it was a penalty, but still, it's 1-1, right? It helps. That was a terrible defensive error as well from, was it Messina?
Yeah, it looks like they switched off. Definitely. You're 3-0 up at half time. Maybe you rest on your laurels.
Buendia looked a little bit off the pace after we bigged him up in the previous show. But happy days for Watford. I think they actually had the best home record out of all 4 leagues last season, out of all 4 professional leagues.
Really? There you go.
Yeah. Happy days for Watford in what was the Graham Taylor derby.
Of course, yeah. I think maybe Villa really, it's maybe quite obvious to say they're going to miss Jack Grealish, but he must change the way. Losing him, that must change the whole dynamic of that football team, despite how many players you bring in to replace him. So I wonder in the first 5-10 games whether they might struggle to come to terms with the loss of him. But
they're also missing, is it Douglas Luiz in centre mid?
Yeah.
I think he's a very good player as well. So
yeah, it takes time to gel those new players, won't it?
Work in progress, I guess.
Exactly,
Aston Villa against, I won't say a formidable Watford side, but a very capable Watford side at home. So, yeah.
Yeah, another good result for a newly promoted team, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And speaking of newly promoted teams...
on the flip side of a good
Exactly, yeah. So the evening kickoff, the late afternoon kickoff was Liverpool-Norwich.
Yep.
And we spoke about Robertson, his absence, obviously getting injured quite recently, and the Greek lad, left-back Tsimikas coming in. And I said it could be quite lopsided or we weren't sure what to expect, but he ran the game for the first sort of 10, 15 minutes for me from left-back. Two-footed.
I'm glad you said that because I noticed that as well. Tsimikas was getting on the ball an awful lot.
Yeah,
I was wondering if they were going to sort of protect him and try and keep him away from the game as much as possible and use the right side. Correct, yeah, but no. They went the opposite way.
A bit of a hidden gem, isn't he?
And he didn't look out of place at all in that Liverpool side. He looked
fantastic.
No, not
at all.
Whipping balls in the box at every opportunity he got. And
he was on the edge of the Norwich the Norwich penalty box for most of that first 20 minutes. And as I say, 2-footed as well. So he's got that ability to drop his shoulder and put another type of ball in the box. But ultimately, we didn't really see Trent, did we, for the first part of the game? And then as soon as there was a gap, he was in, and he does what he does, puts the ball into Jota, he's great value as Jota.
Yeah.
So he will score or assist in nearly every other game. And I was just wondering, we talked about the front three, the traditional front three of Mane, Salah, and Firmino, and starting with Jota and Jota scoring the first goal. I was wondering, over to you now, Firmino, what are you going to do? And then he came on.
He heard you, Stefan.
Exactly. Anything you can do, right? And then he scores as well. And I thought that front three or that front four, they all contributed. I thought Salah was excellent.
Man of the match, right?
Yeah, I'll go along with that.
Assist and a goal.
Broke a record. Do you know what that was?
Walking on the Moon by Police.
Good shout. Scored on the opening day for the first player to score on the opening day 5 years running.
Really?
So it says something about the way he starts. The big plus, obviously, was Virgil van Dijk back. Looked good, obviously.
Sturdy.
Yeah, sturdy. Yeah.
He'll have bigger tests, of course, but yeah. What a lovely game to come back to.
He's in, yeah. Exactly. Slippers and a cigar on, right? Yeah, I mean, what he brings to the team is it can't be stated here, right? I mean, you think if you're Trent or Tsimikas or Robertson, you know you can kick on now and you're not going to have to worry about the plonker at centre-back like last season, yeah? And his distribution as well is something that maybe goes on, maybe untalked about, but that the ability to play that long diagonal ball,
Yep.
And we spoke there about standards, and like Roy Keane, and the fact that Arsenal don't have that. That's what Liverpool have. So if something goes wrong there, he's the man to give a look, isn't he, and say, look, fuck your ideas up.
And he did do that, didn't he, in the second half? I think.
Did he really?
They might have been 3-0 up already, and I think he was. Who did it do it to? It might have been Tsimikas.
You'd be likely to be, right? The young lad.
I think so. Yeah, he gave him a look like, "Don't do that again," or whatever.
Yeah. He's like setting standards.
And also Matip played well. He
did. And it's almost spoiled for choices now at centre back, right? When you think of Gomez and they've got Koundé in. Konate, sorry, So all of a sudden things look. It is Konate. So all of a sudden things look rosy at centre back for them. And Klopp looked a little bit different. Don't know if you picked up on that. Has he done that thing where you wear glasses for so long that you take your glasses off and suddenly look really weird?
Definitely. Yeah. Something was missing from him. That's what it looked like.
Sick of people impersonating him, I imagine. But yeah, on the flip side, Norwich, just same old Norwich. Like, I looked at Brentford. I was quite excited to see them. It's nice to see Watford back with Sarno. And it was just the same old. Just switch on the TV. It's the same old Norwich getting pumped at home, taking a gamble. Do you know what I mean? And
it was
beat.
Pretty much the same team that got relegated from the Premier League.
But worse, right, as you said. I think Rashica was quite
a
productive.
Plus. He was definitely a plus. The first, 20, 30 minutes going down that left side, he was definitely causing a few problems and making Liverpool think, at least, whipping some balls in. I thought they were going to play him on the right-hand side and put him against Tsimikas, but no, they put him against Trent. And he did it okay. I thought Cantwell...
He was off, wasn't he? He was off the pace.
He looked terrible. I don't know. Based on that performance, I don't know why any Premier League club will be going after him. He looked very average, made a few mistakes. I mean, I think there was at one point, Liverpool were on the attack and he just brought down the player to concede.
Yeah, and there was cover there, right?
Yeah.
Got himself a needless yellow, gave away a set piece. Yeah, I saw that.
I've got to say, if we're going to criticise Dan James, I'd also like to criticise Oxlade-Chamberlain. I thought he was pretty poor in that team. I thought Keita and Milner did well in centre mid, but I thought Oxlade-Chamberlain was not very good. I thought he was off the pace and he looked, I won't say out of his depth, but
he was sub right for Fabinho, and then Liverpool
came on and looked much better, if I'm being honest. And I think Liverpool fans will be happy to see Fabinho playing in that defensive midfield role instead of being at centre back, even though he did great there, to be honest.
Yeah, but that's his position.
He's a great defensive midfielder.
Yeah, good start for Liverpool. With Van Dijk back, I wonder if they could be right up there at the start of the season. I still see them. I think in terms of squad depth, I still see them tailing off and maybe not catching the likes of Chelsea and City, but a bright start.
You made a good point as well when we did the preview show when you were talking about the African Cup of Nations.
Yeah, that will hurt them, won't it? Because what have you got then?
Mane. That's two of your best players.
Origi, right? And
Divock. Dennis, is that his brother?
Shaqiri, Minamino, like that's when they don't have the depth. I think he's still there.
Is he still there? All right. But yeah, overall, well done, Liverpool. And they're at home to Burnley next. So another 3-4-0 victory. Probably won't concede either.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see which front three goes with there.
Yeah,
same again.
Doesn't really matter, does it? They're going to win. All right, moving on then to Newcastle.
Yeah, Newcastle. This was a bit of a Sunday treat, wasn't it, this one?
Great. I really enjoyed watching that game.
Yeah, it was a good game, wasn't it? A bit of a Bruce Forsyth, this one. But both teams really went for it. The attacking players on both teams were excellent to watch. So on West Ham, you had Ben Rama. I think Clive spoke about. It's taken a while to settle, but he looked really good. And then you had Wilson and St. Maximin on the other side. I think St. Maximin was really entertaining to watch. I think for the second goal, he absolutely turned Rice inside out.
# fried rice.
Really? There you go. Okay.
If you want.
I think with St. Maximin, though, you'd rather him pick up the ball in the opposition's half, right? I remember, this reminds me of Adil Tarapt when he played under Neil Warnock at QPR. There was a rule, you don't pass to Adil in your own half.
Really?
Because he will just dribble with it and maybe give the ball away. So I think St. Maximin was guilty of that at some times. But yeah, he looked really bright. He's an exciting player for them to watch. Maybe in that sort of Ginola mood. I can see Newcastle fans really enjoying
Yeah,
this.
he's really powerful as well. The way he can like dip in shoulders, move about. Like you said, he turned Rice inside out to assist to Wilson for the first goal.
Yeah, and it was fairly poised, right?
If I'm like, if you're Tottenham now, and if you are going to sell Kane, obviously you're going to be looking into bringing a central striker, no doubt about it. But you've got a lot of extra money there to play with. Would you be looking at someone like St. Maximin to, maybe?
Well, then selling Son to kick on.
Well, either that or compete with Bergwijn, just to have some more attacking options in. Look, I'm pretty sure they're going to, if they do sell Kane, they'll bring in another central striker and Son will revert back. But St. Maximin on the other side, perhaps, or, it gives you more options. I think St. Maximin's a really good player. I don't know if he's top 4 quality or if Tottenham will be interested in, but from what I've seen, it can cause problems and cause issues for any team.
And in a better team as well, you wonder what he might do.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking, where he won't have to pick up the ball. He won't have to work as much. But that'll be interesting to see. I don't know if top clubs are looking at him or not, but I think he's a good player. Yeah,
I mean, as I say, it was quite poised this game until the second half, and I think the penalty maybe changed the game. Penalty that Antonio missed, and then Souček put in the rebound. But Antonio had a really great game. The fourth goal that he scored, that was excellent. Excellent running to get in the box and the finish, an absolute bullet finish. And we said if he can stay fit, how many goals he might actually get for West Ham this year.
Yeah, and fair play. Oh, sorry, on that fourth goal as well. Fair play to Rice, who actually took the ball away from St. Maximin, who destroyed him in the first half.
Bit of payback, maybe.
Yeah. Then to deliver that ball.
He's a great player. Is he someone that you'd like to see at Man United? Maybe Rice?
Oh, of course I would. I think any club would love him, but apparently West Ham have put a price tag of 90 million on top.
Yeah, it's an expensive Rice. That's...
very much so. They want Lingard though. Apparently United have said 25 million, and you can have Lingard.
Yeah, and Dan James and Phil Jones.
Can we do a swap deal? Rice and Lingard. We'd have to give him Lingard, and then still have to give him 65
I wonder if
million.
they'd take that. I wonder if
65 million and Lingard. They would take
it.
Of course they would.
You've got Souček there as well, haven't they? Yeah. And then Mark Noble gets rolled out again.
We could go to Brighton and offer you 40 million for Basuma.
Yeah, don't do that. Calm down.
And then have 50 million extra on top. So I don't know if 90 million is value for money. He's a good player, great player, don't get me wrong. And yeah, it would be fantastic to have him. But I don't want us to spend 90 million on him. I'm sorry, I'm not having that.
Okay. So at the end of the game, Newcastle fans booed. And I don't know if they're booing the performance or they're booing the owner or they're booing Steve Bruce. But if they're booing the performance, I think that's a little harsh, I think.
I don't know. First game back at the new... not the new stadium. First game back for the fans, should I say.
Yeah.
And were they 2-1 up?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 2-1 up and then they conceded three goals. A little bit irritating, I guess. But
West Ham are a good team. And I don't know, I saw enough there from Newcastle to suggest they'll be all right. They've got a goal scorer in Callum Wilson. They've got Almiron and St. Maximin.
Almiron is a busy boy, isn't he?
Yeah, he gets about.
He needs to improve his distribution, though. He gets hold of the ball and he gets himself in really good positions, but then nothing really comes of it. And it's frustrating. It must be super frustrating for Newcastle fans because, like I said, moving on the ball, he gets into fantastic positions. His pace is electric, but then his decision making sometimes and his final passing or his shot is
end product. Yeah,
his end product is not great. Newcastle at the back, they are weak. They are definitely weak.
Missing a couple. The goalkeeper did all right, to be fair, didn't we? We made a lot of him being the third choice goalkeeper.
He didn't do anything wrong, really.
No. Make any mistakes. Did he save the penalty? So,
yeah, he did. Yeah.
So maybe have a bit of confidence.
But no defenders running in, helping him out to get back.
Yeah, he was. Souček was quick off the mark there. Yeah.
I remember at the preview show you were talking about the cameras are going to be on Kane. A lot of the cameras were on Joe Willock.
You've got him to come back in as well.
Yeah.
You forget that. And they'll be a lot stronger with him.
It was a little bit unfair for the cameras to zoom in on his face when they were 3-2 and 4-2 down. It's a little bit depressed. But yeah, again, Newcastle, the mid-table, lower half of the table, they'll be fine. They won't be fighting relegation. But Newcastle fans, don't be expecting to be anywhere, above, 10th or 10th place. You're going to be, competing for 12, 13, 14, 15, and that'll be it really for the season. just try and keep on to the players that you have got, St. Maximan and Wilson.
Cup run, Newcastle. I say.
Which one though? Because City's second squad, Chelsea's second squad. Is the Toto stuff?
Yeah, that's a checker trade, no.
All right, then let's move on to the final game of the weekend. It was Tottenham Hotspur at home to the current champions, Manchester City. I predicted the starting lineup spot on here with Spurs. Oliver Skip and Hodgberg were in. What are you laughing at? Bigging myself up. In a defensive midfield role, Son and Mora played. Actually, I didn't get Tanganga, but there you go. It was actually a fact.
It was quite a big one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was because he played bloody brilliant. I also thought Davinson Sanchez played well as well.
Yeah.
Really well.
Composed centre half, yeah.
Very composed. Dyer didn't really do anything wrong, to be honest. But did Sanchez and Dyer play well? Or was it because they didn't really have a striker of note? They definitely need... Last season, you have to remember that Gundogan, I think he scored 13 league goals.
Went on a mental run, didn't he?
It was unbelievable.
Playing an advanced midfield position.
I can't see I don't think any midfielder is going to do that this season, or I can't foresee it. I don't think Gundogan's going to do that. And the next leading goal scorer they had was Raheem Sterling with, I think, 11 goals. And
he wasn't particularly on form, was he, going into the Euros? With surprise sort of inclusion in the first 11 for England. So, yeah. They scored 17 fewer goals, from the season before. I know they kept out Aguero in his last year, yeah. So there was the league's stronger this year. They're going to have to be very, very careful if they don't have a recognised striker.
And Spurs tactically, perfection.
Yeah.
They sat back, let City come onto them, and then they counter-attacked. And without Kyle Walker in the defence for City, who's one of the best players to have at defending a counter-attack, they look vulnerable. And guess what? Tottenham scored in the second half via that Son goal. A little bit fortuitous because I think it was Diaz got in the way of the keeper.
Ake didn't really do a good job trying to defend that, you'd say, maybe.
Who? Mendes?
Ake.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Sorry, yeah. Ake wasn't great. Yeah, he should have let Son go down. He seed him in.
Showed him the wrong way, yeah.
Showed him the wrong way.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
I thought Mendy was poor as well down that left side. It doesn't look like
a great defender, does he?
Yeah, I mean, City started brilliantly. Like the first 10, 15 minutes.
It was sort of like an overload on Tanganga, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Grealish and Sterling, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, Grealish went through, didn't he, that one time? Was it like after 5 minutes?
Got fouled.
Yeah, almost conceded a penalty, but it was a free kick that Mahrez did nothing with. And then after that, he played well. He passed the ball nicely, but as an attacking threat for 100 million...
It's the price tag thing, though, isn't it? Because you could...
And I'm going to lay it on thick.
Exactly, because you said they'd be after him, but...
100 million. I mean, listen... Paul Pogba apparently is 100 million and he can do 4 assists in one game.
Yeah.
I
mean, I don't think he had
a
particularly bad game. I mean,
didn't.
We talk about
he played how Grealish plays. He didn't do anything spectacular. He played well. But yeah, he's without a central striker. The way Grealish plays,
we saw how well he linked up with Kane when he came on against Germany, right?
Yes, that's true.
So I don't know if Daniel Levy's just woke up this morning and thought that's an extra 20 million quid on that.
Definitely, he definitely
really
did.
Right.
Oh yeah, Daniel Levy will be saying to everyone that he doesn't want to sell Kane, but all he's doing is hanging on until he gets the price that he wants. We all know that. We all know how he operates.
And he's in his right. I don't like Daniel Levy. I know many people do, but he's in his right to do that, right?
He is. The only thing that's been spoken about that is he said to Kane, apparently, this gentleman's agreement.
So how many times have you heard gentleman's
agreement?
Yeah.
If they don't get into the Champions League, that he would sell him if Kane.
All right, can we sign that gentleman's agreement so we don't make it something out of?
Don't we have contracts for that very reason?
Yeah, release
so we don't
clauses.
Have to rely on that gentleman's agreement.
But you remember that time in the pub when I gave you that wink and we said, it's just ridiculous, isn't it?
You've got to say, Kane signing a 6-year contract. Not putting in a buyout release clause.
Well, I think is it his brother that is his agent?
Is it?
Yeah, it's hard to sack him now, isn't it?
His brother Michael. But yeah, Tanganga was incredible. Is it Tanganga? He was amazing.
Tanganga, I'll go with, not Ganja.
Like you said, Grealish didn't play well, but there was nothing really much he could do.
We nullified him, didn't he?
Yeah,
it was just good old school defending.
Yeah,
basically.
Borwine had an amazing opportunity to make it 2-0.
Yeah.
Amazing opportunity, and he put it wide. A
What's his
really
name?
professional performance by Spurs. Really, very, very well done. And now that's City's third 1-0 loss on the bounce.
And look at those games as well. So there's a Champions League final.
Yep. Community
Charity Shield or Community Shield, sorry, and then this. But if you remember back to the Champions League, once Chelsea scored in that game, it didn't look like City were going to score. And it wasn't like Spurs were hanging on, was it?
No, I agree.
Which is worrying. I mean, KDB came on, they're missing Foden.
Listen, might be too early to say, right? But a lot of managers have been through this, where the shit don't stink. Everything they do works. But then, Alex Ferguson went through it with Wenger. Then he went through it with Mourinho. Mourinho had his spell where he thought he was, the bee's knees. Do you think that people are now understanding?
Graham Potter.
Do you think other managers are now understanding Pep Guardiola's tactics more and more, and they're able to nullify it?
He had this period, maybe at the end of his first season or second season, when it was like Emperor's New Clothes. Is he really that good? And then he came back and broke the record, right? So I think it's a bit early to write him off. I'm just
saying he's done superb everywhere he's gone. I think the lowest.
I mean, he's had money everywhere he's gone, hasn't he?
He's
been
well.
back. He's not in charge of Brentford, is he? You know what I mean? He's been at top clubs. But they got off to a slow start last year as well. People forget that. I remember they got done 5-2 at home by Leicester.
That's true.
And then, you know what I mean? But it was a different season. This season, the big clubs, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, they're not going to drop many points. They might only drop points against each other. It might be one of them years.
And all those three clubs that you've just mentioned have at least two central striking options that Manchester City just don't have. They have Torres. I don't think he was very effective, to be honest. He didn't look like
anonymous, really. Didn't have a bad game, but
again,
it's not a focal point, is he?
Correct. Yeah. So the rumors are today, I don't know if you've seen them, that I don't even want to say it, but Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, it's just silly, isn't it?
Right. The annoying thing is, I hate saying this as a United fan. That makes sense to have him in there as a goal scorer, as a focal point, but it can't be true. It just can't be. So I'm just going to ignore it. So.
Well, Juve are in a lot of trouble, aren't they?
Yeah, and apparently it will only take 25 to 30 million.
That is ridiculous. What are United up to here? Surely, no.
As general principle, right?
You've got to put a bid in.
It's not going to happen. Let's forget I said anything. But yeah, this Kane saga is just going to carry on and carry on and carry on. It seems.
He doesn't stay, though, does he? I don't
what
really
do you think?
know.
If
I don't know. I just sort of listening to people going, "Oh, he's definitely going. He's definitely going," and I go along with it, really. But I mean, I wonder if Spurs buy a striker in the next week or so, then he's gone. So we heard that stuff about Martinez, and that they're spending the money before they get it, which is very wise. Because if you think about Brighton now, and whenever we go for someone, we've got 50 million quid in the back pocket, and teams know that. And Levy's not a mug, is he? So I think he'll go. If Kane goes, you'll have a striker in the next sort of week or so, and then we know.
You think that he's got a striker now coming in on the back burner? Is what you
he'll have to. I don't think he'll leave him that light. It's a great performance against City.
It's a good point, that, because Aston Villa did exactly what you just said. They signed three players before they sold Grealish.
Yeah, and they got Ings for a fairly decent price, right? Proven goal scorer.
And Bailey, and then they sold Grealish for that 100 million. Because if clubs knew that they had 100 million, like you said, in the back pocket to spend, there's a price hike. So, yeah.
What do you say? You think he stays, or
I don't know. I really think it's like the closer it gets to the end of the transfer window, the less I see it happening. And there's only 2 weeks left.
But it gets one deal goes and then it all speeds up, doesn't it?
And I know Kane was actually in training today. He actually did go to training, so
he was in training.
He went
to work today.
He went to work today. Fair play to him. Fair play to him. What a good lad he is.
More should be made of that, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
Will he get cheered by the Spurs fans? I know they were sort of singing, "Are you watching Harry Kane?" I don't know. Was he watching as well? He must not have been there because Sky would have been sweating.
They said he was. They said he was.
Yeah, but there would be some sort of picture of him somewhere, right?
Could have been a cardboard cutout.
I think he was there with one of those half and half scarves. But I don't know. I really don't know if he stays. You'd imagine he goes now. and City have got the money.
If I was betting, I would say that he goes, but I can also see him not leaving. I can see Levy being pig-headed.
He was with Modric
not
for a
allowing
year.
him to leave and telling him, listen, next season we'll sell you. Next season we'll sell you.
Well, this is a gentleman's agreement, this one, but a real one.
Yeah,
right?
seriously.
Yeah.
Every year just doing that. And Kane's like, all right. Michael Barrymore's turned up. But yeah, overall, what an amazing start. I couldn't wait for this season to start for some reason. I was really excited, and these games all delivered. No draws.
Everything just seems a little bit better, doesn't it? Because the fans have been away. VAR isn't a talking point. It's not getting out silly rulers for stuff anymore.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Like, I'm a fan of VAR. I think it's welcome in the game. You were on the fence about it, right?
It's just ruining games. If you've got to think, if you're going to a game and you can't celebrate a goal, what's the point?
I just think getting things right is more important. But
yeah, it was never the technology, was it? It was the people implementing it.
Correct. And the way they, like you said, they were getting the rulers out for the offsides and not just visibly looking at it and saying, "Oh, if you can't decide by looking at it, then just give it to the striker. Just let it's that simple, in my opinion. I know they want to go by the letter of the law, but we made the law.
Yeah,
you know
and the law won, didn't it?
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think they said
it to adapt it so it makes it fun for the fans and yet fair in the same time. And I think it looks like they are doing.
They said less penalties, more goals, which is a bit counterintuitive, isn't it? But that's what they've said.
Less penalties, more goals.
Yeah, exactly. That's my election campaign right there. But yeah, they said thicker rulers as well. So they're still getting out the rulers, mate, but they're just a lot bigger. So I think if you look at is it Fernandez's second goal, that would have been ruled out last year. That's what they've said.
Yeah. Okay. You mean
now
the one
it stands, which is good.
The one that Lingard, the beautiful assist by Lingard. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad they've changed their mind and they've come to the senses, because give the fans what they want, but try to be fair as well and don't make it boring, please. But yeah, overall, what a cracking start. Can't wait for next week. So, boys and girls, thank you for joining us for this episode, and we'll see you on Friday for the second preview show with all the build-up. With Clive back, he'll be back.
Back in the first team.
Yeah, it won't just be me and you, Stefan.
Going for a 3 as opposed to the 2, yeah.
I think Clive will be the focal point.
Yeah, we'll play off him.
Yeah, good header of the ball, I believe. And we'll see you on Friday for the second preview show of the season. Bye-bye for now.